join me in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. The first item on the agenda is citizen concerns. I understand we have one in Community and Economic Development Director David Gleiser.
Thank you, Chairman. David Gleiser, Director of Community Economic Development. And for the record, I'd like to pass these materials out to the board, and if we make a motion to receive them.
I'll make a motion to receive.
Second.
Second by Radig. Hearing no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
I just would like to go on the record and bring it to the board's attention that Simcoe has been awarded $400,000 from the U.S. Economic Development Administration. $400,000 will be used to identify technical assistance project throughout Simcoe's service area. Simcoe is asking local governments within the region to submit applications for technical assistance. Some of the types of efforts that would qualify for this, it's specifically for plans that are addressing responses and recovery and resilience efforts related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The types of eligible projects that communities can submit would be surveys, GIS mapping, data collection, updating of comprehensive plans, municipal codes, etc. As you know, we've been working for the last 3 years on getting every city in Woodbury County an updated comprehensive plan. We've finalized that portion. The city of Sioux City and a handful of other cities in Woodbury County are at the adoption process of their plans. And so it's been my department's intention to update Woodbury County's development plan, and I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to take advantage of some federal funding to pay for that. And I also feel like now is the time to not sit and do nothing, but we should be active in our response to the pandemic to ensure that we have economic stability in the county and that we remain a viable location for continued economic and community development opportunities. So I just wanted to inform the board that it is in my intent, and I submitted a draft application for your review this Friday to Simcoe for $100,000 to help offset potential costs to pay for a comprehensive plan for the county over the next 12 to 18 months.
Thank you. I believe there is consensus to allow David to go ahead as stated. Is that correct? There is consensus.
I would agree.
If approved, I will come back and inform the board and ask authorization to accept those funds.
Very good. As always, the number to call in if you are listening live and want to participate by the phone is 712-224-6014. Are there any other citizen concerns in the room or on the phone? Hearing none, item 2 is approval of the agenda. I'll move it.
Second.
Second by Radig. Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Items 3 through 6 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 3 is approval of the minutes of the August 4th meeting. Item 4 is approval of the claims. Item 5 from Board Administration includes A, approval of lifting tax suspensions for petitioners who fail to recertify their income or income does not qualify for continued tax suspension. And B, approval of resolution approving petition for suspension of taxes through the redemption process for initials A, D. And 6 from Human Resources, approval of the Memorandum of Personnel Transactions. It does have a change or a correction, so we'll need the motion to be amending the effective date of Michael Richards from August 7th to August 11th today. So I'll make that motion as amended.
Second.
Motion by Ung, second by DeWitt on the consent agenda. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item 7 from Secondary Roads, County Engineer Mark Nera, includes A, For action, approval of a contract for pavement markings 2020 with Iowa Plains signing for $171,960.
I recommend approval of the contracts for pavement markings and direct the chair to sign the bond and contract, please.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion by DeWitt, second by Radig. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item B is to award the quote for a new 36-inch culvert under County Route L12 to Horizontal Boring and Tunneling Company for $75,850.
It's a very expensive little culvert, but I wanted to give the board some explanation. We've been trying to get somebody to come in and even give us a bid on this culvert for over 8 years. We have an old box culvert that is somewhere buried under 25 feet of sediment that has filled in the ditch over the years. Since this first came to my attention, we went out, we tried to even dig down and find the culvert. We couldn't get deep enough to find it even. The best solution is to come in and set a culvert at the current ditch elevation to allow us to drain this farm property and ditch that's on the west side of County Route L12. This is just south of Lee Avenue, south of Smithland. We've tried to get another number of companies to come in and look at this. We finally hit on Horizontal Boring and Tunneling Company. They're doing work right now for the state on Highway 31 with the new provision there. We looked at doing this with our own crews, with putting in a new culvert. We would have had over 100 feet of pavement removal. We would have had some very deep excavation, and the result of that would have been not only the loss of a relatively new pavement, but we'd also be dealing with settlement for quite some time on that roadway. The horizontal boring allows us to do that work with the least disturbance to paving and traffic, and it's our recommendation that we proceed with this repair. I recommend approval or acceptance of the quote from Horizontal Boring and Tunneling to do a new 36-inch pipe under County Road L12.
I'll move approval.
I'll second the motion by DeWitt. Hearing no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item C is to receive and consider bids for calcium chloride for FY21.
We use this for de-icing in winter months. First bid is from Jericho Services. $479 per ton. Total $73,766. The next bid is from Mark's Distribution. Quote is $516 per ton. Next quote is from Perk Products. They are also $479 per ton.
Oh, we got to get somebody lower to break that tie here.
Yeah. The final quote is from Scottwood Industries. Scottwood Industries bids $407 per ton.
There we go.
I recommend award of the quotation for calcium chloride for the winter of 2020-2021 to Scottwood Industries for $407 per ton.
I'll move approval.
Second that.
Motion by DeWitt, second by Radig. Any comments?
It's a better bid than we had last year.
No.
Very pleased with that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes 5-0. Item D is to receive and consider bids for propane for heating county buildings for FY 2021.
Looks like we have 3 bids. The first one is Johnson Propane and Heating and Cooling. Bid price is 75 cents per gallon. I believe last year we were 99 cents a gallon, if memory serves. Next bid is from New Cooperative. Main office is in Fort Dodge, but they do have a local cooperative here as well. They bid 70 cents per gallon.
Nice.
Here's 65.
Yeah, I know. Let's keep going down in 5-cent increments.
And the final bid is from Feral Gas at 84.9 cents per gallon. They went the wrong direction,
That's all right.
but I will take 70 cents per gallon. I recommend award of the quote to New Cooperative.
I'll move that.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by DeWitt. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes 5-0.
Well, if the prices go back up, you might have to make sure you fill every tank right before the end of the contract. So
Yeah, I think we will tell our current supplier they don't need to come down, and I've got 3 tanks that are getting low. I don't expect to use much between now and August 31st, though, so.
all right.
Those are both good quotes. I think last year we were $4.30 per ton for chloride. So. Thank you.
All right. Next is item 8 from the county auditor to approve and receive for signature and implementation the amended grant monitoring policy procedure.
Michelle Scaff, Deputy Auditor. Just as a reminder of the history, we did meet in the policy group in 2018 to discuss the grant monitoring policy. We have made amendments to the policy, and we are at a high-risk category with the Department of Justice right now because of our grant monitoring policy and some of our audit findings in the past. We have consulted with Department of Justice individuals, PJ, the county attorney, Dennis, Pat, and I, along with some of the sheriff's office personnel, had some conference calls with the Department of Justice to try to determine yet again what it is that they need us to write into our policy. So the revisions that are included in the policy and in the homework, the highlights are the revisions that we've made encompass what we hope to satisfy their findings. One thing that I can tell you is in the 2019 audit, the finding about the single grant monitoring portion is no longer one of the audit findings. The high-risk category that we are at is due to a 2015 audit, and we just can't seem to get out of there. So we feel that these revisions will help.
Okay. So since then, there's been no adverse financial impact to the county?
We
based
do
on
have
this.
pending funds with the sheriff's office in the fiscal year 19 audit. I believe it's $20,400 is being withheld by the Department of Justice. There's also some funds in 2020 that have been withheld, that were awarded in the grant, but the Department of Justice has not provided those funds yet.
Do they revisit that status every year? Is that something they look at annually or what?
They send us emails, what would you say, Dennis, every 4 to 4 months or so?
Yep, at least.
We've been going in circles. We answer their questions, and then they ask us more questions. We answer those, and we continue to answer them, and then eventually they come back to the original questions that they asked. I believe that when you were the chair, you got a letter also.
For just updating a policy, these are quite a few changes, so. for a 4-page policy.
It's just being more specific about our end of the
Yeah.
year process, basically. And they want us to have an implementation date. Our last, the last audit, edits that you approved said that we were implementing them, but it wasn't written with an implementation date, so we made a line to provide that. They want us to make sure we share this policy with our grant administrators, which we do, but now we're documenting that we do it instead of, we provided them the emails that we did it, but that's not enough. We have to have it in our policy when we did it. And also, on the last page of this, you'll see that there's kind of a timeline now. We never had the timeline of the edits, so now we're having a timeline in our policy of what edits we make to the policy.
And this isn't the first time you've reached out to them for,
No,
Helpful.
I have a binder about
Yeah.
this big with communications between us and the Department of Justice.
yeah.
Not
Well-
for lack of trying.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. It's just crossing the Ts and dotting the Is. I'll move approval.
Second.
Second by Radig. Any questions, concerns, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
I do have 2 copies. One's with the highlights that we're going to send to them, and one is just the original without the highlights.
Yeah, because if you send the ones with the highlights and they don't like highlighters, then we'll have to.
And then
Do it again.
that will need to sign that one also, please.
Next is item 9, reports on committee meetings. I was at the Sioux Gateway Airport this afternoon for the press conference announcing the Denver route with SkyWest by United starting October 14th, so that's good news all around. The mayor addressed, spoke, and so did Mr. Bernstein. It was short and simple, but it's a good thing to have 3 routes now. Hopefully we can keep all 3 at the same time. So the county was thanked for their participation along with other cities to allow the subsidy to bring the route to us. Any other reports on committee meetings?
We had Simcoe Exec Finance Committee, where we received the contract for this $400,000 grant program that you all heard about. So that's a pretty quick turnaround on that. But I do know one thing that has been discussed, and Mayor Winkle is kind of the one pushing the idea of cooperative agreements between cities, counties, across state lines, just getting all those updated for, really the pandemic has kind of shown us that, there might be a time where, half a police force might be unable to work for one reason or another. And if we're able to have those cooperative agreements to be able to assist, that's one thing they plan to explore, I think, with this grant money. So that was not the end of the discussion for all that, but that's what was discussed.
Item 10, any citizen concerns or on the phone?
I have something.
Yes?
While Michelle's here, I just want to let you know that it's been a process that's been going on for a couple of years now to get, trying to improve getting our taxes out with the conversion to the new software. And we actually did it this year, and we got it to the treasurer earlier than we have even when we were on Solutions. So it's a marked success at this point, is that, and hopefully it will get better next year. Michelle has put a lot of effort into making that happening and to make it happen, and that's a good thing. So
what exactly do you transfer to the treasurer?
Putting the tax list together.
Tax list?
Yep, so that they can, so we can start collecting money. The treasurer has to put it out to for print now, and then it'll go to the taxpayers to do it. So it hasn't always been smooth, but it's an accomplishment.
Great. Well,
Maybe you said it already, how much more quickly did it happen this year?
You can ask Michelle that.
Well, just for a history, since you weren't involved, last year, we converted all of our chart of accounts for finance, we converted payroll, we converted the entire tax database for the county. So that, prior to this, we were working on 3 different softwares. We have the assessor's office was on a system called Solutions, the recorder's office and the auditor's office was using Solutions for tax, and then the treasurer was using, or no, the assessors were using Encode, and the auditors and the treasurer were using Solutions. Now we're all on the same software. On the finance side, and that's part of that high-risk category with the Department of Justice findings, was due to the 2 and 3 different softwares that we're using. So on the finance side, we had a program called HTE that we used in the auditor's office, and the treasurer's office used Solutions. So there was always Dennis, the middleman, who
Translator?
had to, yeah, the translator. So last year in July, we converted payroll and accounts payable, and we converted the taxes right when the statements needed to be out. So last year, the month of August was a very stressful month for everyone because it was a fight to make sure that all the data converted properly so that the tax statements could go out on time. And we got them out about a week before September 1st, I think. I think we're a week earlier than we were last year for turning it over to the treasurer. And now the treasurer is outsourcing, so they're going to have the statements printed outside of the county. Before they used to print them in-house and stuff them, and that would take about a week. So I'm not sure how that will change things up, but I'm sure he can address that. I think we're 2 weeks earlier than we were 2 years ago when we were on Solutions.
That's
Thank you.
just
Thank you, yeah.
got to be thrilling for the treasurer and put a spring in his step. I'm sure he's,
Well, I can't say everyone likes change, but we're getting there.
well, yeah, we had some that worried that it would take longer to do certain things, and it's good to hear it's actually going to, already is helping, so.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of a learning curve. You know, this is the first year that we've been on our own without having the conversion analyst here with us to pull it off, so I'm proud of it.
Thank you. Any other citizen concerns? Item 11, any board concerns? No board concerns? Thank you, we're adjourned.